What do you get when you take a Massachusetts comedian?
Drink as much as you can. Drink as fast as you can. Have some fun.
A Massachusetts politician.
I approve this message.
And one part sports, one part politics, and a healthy dose of unsubstantiated opinion? Sweeney and Malone. Here's Steve Sweeney and Joe Malone.
Bad news, folks. Sweeney is out at Yellowstone Park. But the good news is we got Rick Johnson here from Plymouth Water Sports, who's going to be filling in as my co-host tonight. And, of course, Larry Legend and Margot, just back from L.A., Hollywood, where she received an award. So far, my sense is she's still humble. She hasn't adopted the diva thing, which is good. But the night is young. We'll see. And it's a beautiful night down here on the Plymouth Harbor, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Jeez.
We've had quite a run here, Joe. The last just a couple of weeks ago, except for a couple of days. Today was a little warm, but at least we had a nice breeze down here. It was very busy.
But when I arrived, Rick Johnson, I said, "You've created a monster here. You're the promoter par excellence." And I kind of come down the Water Street here, and man, I feel like I'm on Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
It really is
buzzing. It's cool.
It's not just the people from coming in, tourists, but the local people are down here. They're taking advantage of the fact that, the summer is a great time to be out here, and they're enjoying it.
One of the prettiest and biggest harbors that you could ever be around. You know what I mean? A lot of towns are gorgeous towns, but somehow the area that you can access with water views and be on in restaurants and so forth, like the Tavern on the Wharf, they're few and far between. Here, there's so much.
Yeah, we have a lot here. It's one of the challenges we have when people come in. We have the water taxi that brings transient boaters back into shore, and when they do come in, the first thing they ask is where we're going to eat. And it's tough because we have so many great places here. The Tavern being the newest one, but we have Anna's, we have Cabby's, we have Lobster Hut and Woods, and the ice cream right across the street at the Plymouth Bay, and then the Shanty Rose. So within, it's not even a pitching wedge.
And then if you need a place to stay, you go right over to Pilgrim Sands.
Over to Pilgrim Sands is the best.
Beautiful thing.
Absolutely, right on the beach.
And if you're driving down 3A, and we had him on last week, but Brian from the Patio Bistro, have you tried that food yet?
No, I haven't. We were talking about that.
So we got to go over there. All right, bring the lovely Ginny, and I'll
we'll
bring
try
Linda. You'll love it. And the other point I would make is everybody here is so friendly. There is this, we're America's hometown. Come to Plymouth. It's really a cool place.
There's a lot going on. I mean, in the past, you find a lot of people bypassing Plymouth and going straight down to the Cape. And we don't have a bridge you have to go over here, folks. You can get here pretty easily.
Not only that, the water sports thing. I mean, I can remember back before we had a boat, thinking, where can I, take my kids out on a boat or get them onto on a jet ski or whatever, and it was kind of challenging, but
it's a lot of fun.
The word's gotten out now, right?
It has now, yeah. We've been here for 9 years, almost 10 years. And every year it just keeps growing. What I really like is not just the new customers coming into the area and learning about us, but the repeat customers. And it's week after week after week. We see the same faces coming back in and enjoying it again.
So do you have birthday party type things?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
corporate outings and.
We do a lot of things like that. It's not just a single rental. We also do parties. We can take the flyboard and jet skis and the paddle boards and kayaks on location, within reason, and set up on a beach near where they might be having their little gathering.
So one of the whoa, traffic report, Larry. Take it away, Ryan. This is Sweeney Malone, WATD. We'll be right back. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Sweeney and Malone. Joe Malone here. Sweeney is off at Yellowstone Park, but I'm here with Rick Johnson from Plymouth Water Sports.
Joe, I need to interject here.
Yeah.
During that break, Joe alluded to the fact it's pretty busy down here, and parking is not always the easiest to get. Well, Joe's car needed to be parked, and he had to run over there and do it, and you should have seen him do the sprint to come back here. You're in pretty good shape, man.
Well, you know what? It's for a 39-year-old guy, I can still move pretty well. Hey, we're joined by Todd Domke, one of the great political analysts of our time, and he's kind enough to join us. Todd, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you, Joe.
So much to talk about, huh?
craziness.
I know it, and it's early in the game relative to previous presidential cycles. This is like the first inning, and the action is fast and furious.
That's right. I mean, with each of the major candidates, there's some kind of drama playing out. Of course, we know with Hillary Clinton, the email scandal, that keeps getting worse. With the FBI now saying that they're looking more carefully into the server that was supposedly scrubbed, but they're finding all kinds of classified and top secret emails that shouldn't have been in there, pointing out that she, they haven't said it publicly, but it's obvious that she has not been telling the truth, shall we say.
Yeah, that's the bigger issue. She if she had early on said, you know what, I made a huge mistake here. Maybe it was a little paranoia on my part or whatever, but I didn't follow the rules and I screwed up and my bad, But instead,
but instead now, as you know, the cover-up was worse than the crime. So the whole attempt to have the server wiped clean, and then they find out that the server was I think it was in Denver, in some small little shop that was actually in the closet of a bathroom.
You're kidding.
I mean, I'm not making this. You can't make this stuff up, Joe.
And meanwhile,
like
General Petraeus.
It sounds so outlandish.
And meanwhile, General Petraeus is forced to plead guilty, right? For far lesser crimes.
Oh yeah.
And then
there was a case where, his whole career went down the chute. I mean, he was just, that was
an American hero. An American hero.
Ruined by that. And now in her case, she thinks she could get away with it just by saying, well, it's politics, it's politics. But the prosecutors, the independent investigators, these are appointees of the Obama administration looking into this. The FBI and the other federal investigators.
And by the way,
these are not partisan.
And by the way, her joke about Snapchat and the nice thing that was a dud, huh?
And again, it shows how tin-eared she is, and probably her advisors, whoever encouraged her to tell that joke, because it didn't look like it was spontaneous. But to be joking about something so serious as having top secret information that would, be vulnerable to hacking from China and Russia and the others. I mean, that is, for a commander-in-chief, to know the difference between classified and unclassified, you'd think would be one of the simpler requirements.
Right. And it's not as simple as saying, in the subject line, it didn't say classified, which is nonsense, I mean, she deepens her problems, as you point out, every step along the way.
And Sidney Blumenthal, one of her top advisors, he was the first, this was a few weeks ago, to expose her falsehood, of her saying, oh, no, all those 30,000 emails I deleted were just personal, nothing to do with State Department business. Then when he was called to testify before a congressional committee, he then revealed 15 emails back and forth between her, having to do with Libya, having to do with what policy should be. And so her own top advisor has already exposed her. Imagine what will happen once there are more leaks about some of these top secret emails.
And I think the underlying issue here is that Bill Clinton was leveraging her power as Secretary of State to get $500,000 to give a speech, and who knows on those emails that they end up deleting what went on. But when you delete,
the political consequence, Joe, is that Joe Biden is serious and now is reportedly leaning toward entering the race, and it's because he sees the prospect of her going down. I mean, first of all, she's been in steady decline ever since she announced, in terms of polls, in terms of not just approval, disapproval, but a vast majority of people saying she's not honest or trustworthy. In all sorts of ways, she's been going downhill. But Joe Biden, realizes that when you're talking about possible criminal investigation, possible indictment, with all the congressional inquiries in addition to the federal agencies, he feels impelled probably to step forward, and that changes the race. I mean, he's not that popular in polls, but if he's splitting her establishment vote, then in the primaries, a Bernie Sanders or even a Martin O'Malley could rise, and suddenly her inevitability is long gone.
Oh, I mean, this could open the floodgates for other candidates to get in the race, and it all comes back to, I think, this idea that within the White House, they will know that this FBI investigation is only going to dig deeper and create more issues and more problems, and so then the inside the Beltway kind of chat becomes, hey, we need other people in this race. She is not the...
You're right, and we can both imagine, you don't have to be paranoid, you could just be a little suspicious, to imagine that some of those federal investigators would have gotten word to the Obama White House, and in turn they would have shared with Biden what the danger is for Hillary Clinton.
Whether it's at the state...
And the difficulty of, like you said, having a double standard, one standard for Petraeus and a different standard for her.
Both with the great power of the federal government, but also with the power of friends in the media. If they deem that she is now dead woman walking, then it's only a rapid decline from here.
Right, and you're right, and especially when she's not a likable figure. I mean, yes, some like her, and she certainly is popular with some, but she doesn't have the kind of likability, and very few politicians do, that can survive, something as serious as an ongoing scandal. And the fact that it's plural, we're talking about scandals in her case. At some point there is, you're right, a tipping point where then she just kind of implodes as a candidate.
This is not the number one. It's not the inevitability, but number two, this is sort of the weight we don't want to drag into the general election. So therefore, and of course, we've said from early on that Bernie Sanders is really kind of the indicator that if he's doing well against her, much like Eugene McCarthy against LBJ, then there's an open alley here. There's an open lane here for someone to gain a whole lot of steam and a whole lot of momentum very quickly.
And those establishment Democratic strategists, the power structure in Washington that still the Democrats have great influence in, they would be looking this as a potential disaster, because they know Bernie Sanders is no Gene McCarthy in terms of mainstream appeal. As a socialist, as an old guy who has his own weaknesses, and I'm not talking about integrity or anything.
But we can all respect a guy who says I'm a socialist. At least he's pure in terms of here I am.
He's honest, and that can help him win.
Right.
Especially in a split field, the Democratic nomination. But for the general election, they realized he would be weak, and they realized too. They saw what happened with the unpopularity of Obama in the off-year elections. Republicans take control of the House and Senate, add a great number of governors, that the Republican infrastructure is so much better than the Democrats right now, and they know if they lose the White House on top of it, they're in big trouble. So they are definitely worried that Hillary Clinton could be, as you say, a dead woman walking.
So next drama in terms of a candidacy. Let's talk about Jeb Bush.
Sure.
What's your take on him?
I saw a latest CNN poll that put him back in the second place, but only like with 9% or something. His fall from grace, his decline in popularity, is really been pretty dramatic, given that we're only talking about that, not too many months that he's been in the race. And, yes, it's partly Trump going up and others surging, but his performance in the last debate has many, even Bushites, wondering if he has what it takes in terms of the persona. He seems so mushy and so mild-mannered. He just doesn't seem to exude any kind of leadership.
And by the way, 6 months ago it was like, okay, this is the Kentucky Derby, and we've got the Triple Crown winner here. He's part of the Bush empire, and he's going to have all the money, and everybody else get out of the way. It's a foregone conclusion, and that's interesting because much like Hillary, it's just been as flat as a pancake.
Yeah, right. And he now has to worry, and he is worried about John Kasich, governor from Ohio, who's gone up a little in the polls, who did well in debate, but he is kind of taking some of that moderate establishment turf from Bush, including some endorsements like in New Hampshire, and today he got the governor of Alabama, and he's starting to get some of the support of pragmatists who want somebody who's moderate conservative, and yet with his record in Ohio and the fact that he is kind of unknown to most of the country, he has the fresh face that obviously Jeb Bush doesn't. Even though Jeb's face is still not that well known, his name is overly familiar with people.
And by the way, he purely from a competence level, I mean, he's been in Congress, he has been a governor, he has foreign policy experience as a result of being on the the committees that are involved with foreign policy and defense.
No, in terms of credentials,
he comes from the right state,
he's
Ohio.
the most qualified on the Republican side.
Remember a few years ago, all the buzz was about Mitch Daniels. He run, Mitch. I mean, I think he's a better version of Mitch Daniels.
And also Mitch Daniels, who was governor of Indiana. Ohio is a bigger state, a swing state, and his record in Ohio is more impressive. I mean, he turned around a huge deficit. The numbers there in terms of economic growth are great, and in terms of helping people who need the safety net, he's done more, had more initiatives, and so his reelection was by a huge margin last time.
I was going to say, the vote he got, I think, is a great indication of the job he's done. People in a state that is a swing state, I think, elected him with a 30% margin. So that's very impressive. So
you know him from back in the day, but he continues to have grown intellectually. I think he now is a very savvy candidate. He's not drawn into all the Trump nonsense.
Right.
He knows how to steer clear of that craziness and to sort of project the kind of stature that you expect and want in a president.
So Carly Fiorina.
She is, she still has some momentum coming from the debate.
Mm-hmm.
As the only woman, you'd think that, she would have even more of an advantage in terms of having a distinctive identity and everything. But on the Republican side, that's less the case than I think it's been on the Democratic side. But she is very persuasive. When you listen to her in these TV interviews, she seems the most cogent and articulate, factual, logical than the other candidates. She has the problem, of course, of not having won office before. But as we see now, people seem to, at least at this early stage, like the idea of an outsider, a problem solver, as opposed to a politician.
Yeah, and again, a lot of people say it's offensive to say it at this point, but many people I talk to say she'd be a great running mate for whoever the nominee is.
I think that's what's happening. I think because I do think that it's not like she has the commander-in-chief credentials or the experience in Washington and all the things that are part of what you need for a president to be truly effective. But I think you're right. I think she has really emerged, along with Marco Rubio, as a logical pick for vice president.
Yeah. So now we get to Donald Trump. Of course, I've gone now deep into this interview without mentioning him because if I ever could place a bet with anybody and say, okay, I'm going to turn on Fox or MSNBC or whatever, and if Donald Trump's name doesn't come up in the first 5 minutes, I owe you $100, or vice versa.
And also, like Fox, I've noticed that he's even had 1 hour specials about him.
It's unbelievable.
They know, for their channel, it's a rating.
Yeah, exactly. They know what they're.
Right. And on network news, they will often have him just on whether it's giving helicopter rides to the kids or some crazy pronouncement or his immigration policy proposal or whatever. But they want excuses too to have him on because they know he seems to be good for ratings. People love celebrity. People love the craziness.
Absolutely. When the word Trump comes up, people tune in, and again, it's propelling him because it's even though it's a love-hate situation with the media, he has a certain difference from all the rest of the politicians who early on, when they start running for state rep or, state senator or whatever, they're trained kind of either in a very overt way or in a sort of oblique way that you are not supposed to say anything that is going to be controversial. So if they ask you what your favorite ice cream is, well, say, I like chocolate, I like vanilla, that's nice, and also strawberry's beautiful, and my wife enjoys coffee. And the public, I think, has become so tired of that along comes this guy who is speaking in different tones, and then add to it that he is the response to, I think, the Romney campaign, which was so data-driven, and so careful about every step it took. And then on top of that, with regard to Obama, who it was so unwilling to say great things about America or even good things about America, he's out there saying this is the greatest country ever placed on the face of this earth. It's about time we start flexing our muscles. That elixir is pretty powerful.
Yeah. And of course, the unpredictability, the boastfulness, the insults.
Oh.
He insults everyone. And that's why I think people stay tuned in. Who's he going to insult next? And of course, that is not the maturity level you want.
No, but for him to be in the race, yeah, and ultimately, does he win? I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so. In fact, this is still within the margin of error. But I know this new CNN poll today had him at 24. Last poll before that, Fox was at 25. Poll before that was 26. As you know, within a single point, that could be within the margin of error. But I do have a feeling that the novelty wears off, that he will, steadily decline, and then I think he will just kind of lose it at some point because he will not like the question of, why are you losing popularity? He'll probably say something crazy or daft.
But you know what? Before
some of those who love outsiders then have a Ben Carson or a Carly Fiorina.
So let me take you to pop music, and you'll be taken aback by this. But before there was a Madonna, there was a Cyndi Lauper, and Cyndi had her hair colored purple, and she was just playing outside of the parameters. And along comes Madonna and says, "I can do your gig better than you can." Hey, Todd. 95.9 Sweeney Malone, WATD in Plymouth Harbor. It's where it's at. Thanks a million for joining us. Appreciate it. And please come back.
Good to be with you, John.
Todd Donkby, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Todd.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Sweeney and Malone. Steve Sweeney is at Yellowstone Park. So he's not with us tonight, but he's here in spirit. And we all love Steve. And we thought in his absence we should have some comedic talent, and no one better than Mike McDonald, who has won the hearts and souls and minds of lots of audiences throughout the country. Mike McDonald, welcome to the show.
Solo Joe Malone, I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to surprise you. Yeah, we're right here at Plymouth Water Sports, overlooking the Tavern on the Wharf, right down on Plymouth waterfront. Have you spent any time in Plymouth?
I have. I like Plymouth.
Isn't it a lot of fun? So
yeah,
have you?
It thinks it's the Cape, but it's not. And but they're on the approach. They're on the approach path to the Cape. Once you hit exit 9 to exit 3. Then you're on your way to hitting the bridge.
And by the way, you know what their motto is? No shirts, no shoes, no bridges.
Really? I thought it was no shirts, no shoes, no Indians.
No. Yeah.
We stole all the Cape. From the poor Indians.
Well.
After they invited us there for that Thanksgiving thing, they were like, "Hey, man, we got turkeys, we got lobster,
corn.
We got this stuff, corn.
Corn. We got the peace pipe.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you can wear that hat with a buckle in it. You come on down. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then we went and we whacked them and we stole the Cape, and we kept all the names of the towns, the Indian names of the towns on the Cape from that dinner.
Yeah. Manamet, even Manamet, right? Things like that.
That's right,
But all that said, let's let kind of old battles lie here. Everything is good with you. You having a good summer, Mike?
Yeah, I love the summer. I cannot believe that we're midway through August. And, halfway through August and not even one tourist on the Cape has been eaten by a great white shark.
You sure about that?
Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, well, not if you're the guy who might have been eaten,
Every other day we see some marine biologist in a boat off the Cape with some 15-footer, and, what are they eating?
The most recent one was a shark off of Chatham who was diving to catch a seal and just missed grabbing it. Did you see that one?
I saw that video. I saw he comes out of the water trying to grab the seal.
Yeah,
so,
jeez.
But, that could have been a fat guy on the beach.
No, you're right.
Liven it up down in Wellfleet.
Yeah, you're right. Now, you should come down here and do some gigs. They're dying for good comedy down here,
Hey, Joe, you're a closer, okay?
Yeah.
Get me a couple of dates down there.
All right. I'll tell you, the Tavern on the Wharf is a good...
So you're not at a tavern. You're sitting out. Describe to me where you're sitting now.
Thank you very much. We are sitting right along the harbor here in Plymouth, which is gorgeous. People walking by, just people, as Sinatra would say, in their walks of life with their kids, having fun. It's like Bourbon Street on Mardi Gras, though. It's jam-packed, and I'm looking at 1 restaurant, 2 restaurants, 3 restaurants, 4 restaurants, 5 restaurants just within my eyesight, and there's boats all over the place. It's fabulous.
I cannot believe that you, being a guy who's always on the hustle and a radio maven, is looking at 5 restaurants, and you didn't mention the name of one of them. And somebody was listening and would run out with free food.
Well, I think earlier on in the conversation I mentioned Tavern on the Wharf, and I'll mention it Tavern on the Wharf.
Okay.
And the Shanty Rose, they've always been good. And of course, our sponsor of tonight's show, the Plymouth Water Sports. So. And in the past, we've been over at Pilgrim Sands, so you got a lot going here.
What is Plymouth Water Sports? Is that like you go water skiing or you go scuba diving? Or
so I'm going to put Rick Johnson on because nobody explains what his company does better than him. Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? It's Rick here.
I'm good, Rick.
Well, according to Steve Sweeney, we don't really rent jet skis. We just use them for illegal aliens. We smuggle them in here.
Yeah.
According to Sweeney, that's the views of.
That's alleged. That's only alleged.
No, we have all the.
Bringing in people from Cuba and Haiti.
In Mexico.
Not Cuba anymore. They're welcome, I hear now. Anyway,
that's right.
No, but
cost you a lot of money.
we have all the toys down here, Mike. We've got the flyboard, we have the jet skis, and the boats to rent, and paddle boards. We have the flyboard, my friend.
Oh, how is it that you didn't put Malone on the flyboard?
What makes you think we didn't? Oh no, he's famous on the flyboard.
You know what this thing is? Have you done it?
Oh, I've seen it, and I marvel at it. With the water pushing you up in the air. My kids have done it. You want to come down and do it, Mike? We'll make a big extravaganza.
Who sees that and says, I don't want to do that? I think
everybody does it, Mike.
And by the way, Mike.
It's a hoverboard, but with water.
And Mike, yeah.
You can go up 8, 10 feet in the air.
It's all over movies, commercials, and bring your chick with you, and have her wear the that skimpy bikini, and we'll put it all over the internet.
The views of Joe Malone.
Well, that's just it. You don't exactly want to show up with a fat guy with a loose bathing suit because that's just going to be ugly.
Now, hey, I'll tell you.
I always want to have a beautiful woman with me who has the opportunity to have her suit get knocked off accidentally.
Yeah.
Mike,
go ahead.
Mike, we've had this 3 years, and it took about a week to figure out that you really don't need a wetsuit to protect yourself from the cold or the fall. It's just to keep your clothes on.
Yes.
It's true. Everybody we send out there, in addition to the jacket, the life jackets and the helmets and all of that, they all have little shorty wetsuits.
But also too, Rick has here at Plymouth Water Sports a boat that takes you out to this little spit of sand that's about as big as one fairway, maybe a par 5. But you go out there, spend the day, have a great time, have a picnic, and then they basically ferry you back and forth. It's unbelievable. It's like a little piece of heaven.
That's how summer should be, Joe.
Yeah.
You know, summer in New England, you don't have to own a boat, but you got to know somebody who does.
Right, and this is perfect.
Now, Rick, is your boat an inboard and outboard, or?
We have a little bit of everything down here. We've got about 28 pieces of equipment on the dock.
Do you have anything that's a mid-prop?
No, actually, you mean to rent, Mike?
Well, there's some dive boats that I've been on that the prop isn't right on the stern. It's a quarter of the way back on the stern, so nobody has a chance of taking one accidentally. And there's a fantastic water sport that's built out of that. It's called berthing, and what you do there is you hang 2 ropes off of each stern cleat, and you go out about 25 feet, holding onto each rope, and you can basically body surf in the
Yeah,
wash.
I've seen that. I have seen that. We don't do any of that. The agreement that we have with our carrier, we don't tow anything. So, and that was one of the good things that the new rules that the flyboard had. It used to be called that the flyboard was being towed by the jet ski, when in fact it's the reverse of that. But the new ruling is it's one integral unit, and you have to have a licensed captain to operate it.
See, this is the bad thing about insurance. They tell you can't do things. And, my rule is, of course, never ask. Because then they can't tell you.
and beg forgiveness after?
Well, you bring him ashore and say that he fell down in the parking lot.
Hey, Mike, where do you live?
I'm in the Billerica Tewksbury snow belt.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was down on the Cape last week. I was in Centerville, which of course isn't in the center of the Cape. It's it's up around Hyannis.
So
and,
do you have kids?
I don't. But,
Okay.
Any,
I will say this:
I have access to them.
Yeah, nephews or nieces or puppies or.
Bring them down, Mike.
I got some fantastic kids that would love to play.
Please come to Plymouth. You will love it. And the other thing I would add is, in addition to the jet skis and the boats and the fishing, do you fish? Have you ever fished?
Hey, I am all about the water. I got 900 scuba dives in.
Wow, hold on. He's got 900 scuba dives in?
I dove Tahiti, I dove New Zealand, I dove in Australia, I dove Bonaire, Curacao, Cuba.
Holy
No, it's great stuff.
I dove Rhode Island. I found an old Chevy.
Wow. Yeah, I was golfing at the, what is it, Quarry
I'm surprised
Hills.
it wasn't a new Chevy.
I was golfing at Quarry Hills yesterday, and there's a Jeep that you can see in the middle of one of those quarry holes,
Yeah, almost everybody on the staff, Mike, are divers.
You want to keep the water nice and pristine as you throw an old Jeep in.
You don't want to jump in. But anyway, come on down to Plymouth.
You better know where the bad things are. That's, of course, always the problem with the quarry. But nobody goes to the quarry without drinking.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You can miss that Jeep.
Oftentimes they go there at 3 o'clock in the morning, after coming back from the clubs.
It's not exactly. It's not exactly like the regular parking lot in Boston where you can't find your car.
No.
It fell in the quarry, didn't it? Yeah.
There's a story behind that story.
Your car, it's just 200 feet down.
Hey, Mike, we got to talk some politics here before I let you go. Michael.
Okay.
Yeah. So who's your favorite candidate for president?
Well, as I told you the last time I talked to you, I cannot believe that after 8 years, the GOP has marched out the talent that they have, because there's not one of them that's impressing me. Trump is hilarious because, he's like a Tourette's patient.
Oh, my God.
He just comes out and says anything that he wants and offends, whoever. Can you imagine being Rosie O'Donnell sitting on the couch last week?
Oh, my God.
She's sitting there with a beer, and all of a sudden, only fat Rosie. Oh, my God. The beer must have flown everywhere.
No, you're
I
right.
think that would have been fantastic.
Oh,
But
my God.
You know who I think is going to be a big spoiler here for the Dems is Bernie.
Wow, huh?
Bernie Sanders is going to be hilariously dangerous for Hillary Clinton.
Oh, she's his worst nightmare.
I really do believe that. I mean, every time you watch the guy speak, you go like, wow.
And the crowds,
the guy's throwing haymakers, and he makes a little bit of sense.
And by the way, the crowds
So
are getting.
I enjoy watching him mess with everybody.
And the crowds are getting bigger and bigger for Bernie. I mean, if the election were held today.
Selling out like.
Oh, I know.
It's like going to see a U2 concert.
No, you're right.
Bernie Sanders.
If the election were held today in New Hampshire, he would beat her. So, now we were talking to our previous guest. Hillary's got big problems.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But look at the competition on they're bringing a knife to a gunfight. The GOP.
Yeah, but on that front, at least there's 17. Out of the 17, someone will emerge who was a tough nut for Hillary. So, and Joe Biden now is talking about getting in.
Who's your pick out of those 17 that's a tough nut to crack?
Kasich.
Who, Mike Huckabee?
Kasich from Ohio.
I actually liked him. I liked
see?
him when he spoke. He sounded like
Yeah.
A reasonable, intelligent guy.
No, he's got the right tone.
Actually done a little bit of the job, and he
Yeah.
was one of the very few guys who came off like, I'd have a beer with him, and we could talk for a while, and there wouldn't be, a fist fight. So
my other I'd say keep an eye on him.
I agree with you. I will keep an eye on him because he's all right. That's my Joe. That's Joe. Okay, so according to you, it's going to be the guy from Ohio against the guy from Vermont.
Well, no, I'm not saying the guy from Vermont. I think Biden gets in. I think there'll be O'Malley. O'Malley will gain a little bit of momentum. Who knows? Who?
What are you talking about with Joe Biden?
Why you don't think he'll get in?
Get out of his own way.
No.
Nobody wants Biden.
You know what? It's all relative. He can't get out of his own way, but Hillary is going backwards.
Well, that's fine, but I'm telling you that the guy with the tousled hair who looks like Professor Irwin Corey, out of wasn't he the mayor of Burlington?
Yeah, and then he became the socialist independent senator. And he has the potential to defeat Hillary Clinton in her powerful machine in New Hampshire.
I agree.
All right. So that said,
I'm thinking more than New Hampshire.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm thinking more than New Hampshire.
So that tells you people are like, no. I ain't working with the Hillary thing. That's not happening.
Well, Joe, the thing that's about both those candidates, about Trump and about Bernie Sanders, is that they're both kind of anti-candidates on both sides.
They are the outsiders.
Leading the GOP side and the reason he's leading is because everybody hates politicians, and he's doesn't appear to be a politician. And Bernie Sanders is the same kind of way.
You nailed it, baby. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're cutting to our break here. Mike McDonald, comedian. Thank you very much. You got a website? Anything you want to plug?
This Friday night. Come and see me at the Indian Ranch this Friday night.
Where's the Indian Ranch located?
Webster,
Mass. Thanks, Mike. Please come back on. We always love having you. Mike McDonald. Sweeney Malone, WATD. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jay Giles. Welcome back to Sweeney Malone here at Plymouth Water Sports on the Plymouth Harbor waterfront with Rick Johnson, the owner, who has been an amazing host to Sweeney Malone and this whole town. It's as I've said before, I feel like I'm on Bourbon Street on Mardi Gras Day. This is amazing, Rick. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Some of our best customers right over there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They're happy customers, too. I'm here with Larry Legend. I'm with Margot, who televises the thing. And, of course, we got Ryan back in the studio. Sweeney is out at Yellowstone Park with Yogi Bear. But joining us now is a gentleman who has been agent to Doug Flutie, Fred Smirlis, and other stars. He's been in the legal operation of the New England Patriots, a Waltham guy I've known for the last umpteen years. Jack Mueller, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you doing, my man?
Hello.
Hello, Jack.
Joe, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How about you?
I can hear you, yes.
Good. So tomorrow we go into the next chapter of this saga with Brady and the NFL. Whoop.
Joe, I've got a bad connection. I can hardly hear you.
Why don't you try calling right back? We'll do it again.
Let me call right back.
All right, beautiful. Take your time. This is when we bring Larry Legend in here. Larry, you've been in a lot of locations.
This is all Ryan. I'm just sitting here eating the food.
Oh yeah. No, Larry
I just
is.
came back from a jet ski ride.
Yeah.
And I was eating some of that pizza there while I was jet skiing. It was pretty neat.
I mean, you're happy, right?
I just caught 2 lobsters too.
Yeah, no, Larry is, it's basically like, hey, I'm enjoying life here. Don't bother me with these technical issues. But,
Chef Johnny from Tavern on the Wharf just came over with about 4 or 5 different dishes. And he keeps bringing, every week he brings something new.
Oh,
yeah.
my
And
God.
and I don't know if he's testing it for the menu or what, but
The guinea pigs,
there isn't,
but I haven't had anything I didn't like
there
yet.
isn't anything that shouldn't already be on the menu. It's just phenomenal food. Good guy.
Honestly, this food, on a scale from 1 to 10, is about a 20. It's
A 20,
really
yeah, at
good.
least that. At least
Man.
that, yeah. Beautiful night. Got a lot of our people coming off of their boats for the evening, going home, and some of them actually showing up now to go out on their boats. Nice evening cruise. Be a perfect time to be out there on the bay.
This is a time of day when Sweeney claims that most of the women hit on him. I've never seen it, but I think he's delusional.
It's normally. It would have normally been after midnight if he could stay up that long.
He says it's right between 7 and 8 when he has to really fight him off.
It's that time of the afternoon when the sun's setting a little bit and you really
Yeah.
can't see too straight and you don't know what's in front of you.
It's a kind of a romantic time of day.
And you
so.
forget to take the sunglasses off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's the best point. Hey, we got Jack back. We got
Jack.
back along.
Jack.
Hello.
All right, is that better?
A lot better.
Let's cut right to the chase here. So is tomorrow the day that Commissioner Goodell demands that the judge put Brady in jail for his crimes and misdemeanors?
Well, tomorrow is very important. As you know, the big question is who will show up. Unlike the first hearing, the judge has not requested Brady or required Brady, the commissioner, to show up. There are reports that Brady is prepared to show up, and the NFL did not release whether the commissioner was going to show up. At least early this afternoon, they hadn't decided. There's also the school of thought that says the judge has also asked for other witnesses. The big question is, who are the other witnesses, and why is the judge still interested in hearing more about the facts, when customarily the judge would really be deciding as to whether the process was fair. This judge has shown a inclination to delve into the facts, which is unusual.
And refresh my memory, is this court in Manhattan? Where's the court?
Yes, it is. It's in New York City. Again, the NFL brought it to this forum, figuring they would beat Brady and the union to court, because typically the union likes to file in Minnesota, where an 80-plus-year-old judge, Judge Doty, has typically been more sympathetic to the players in labor than he has to the NFL and Ben management. So the NFL sought to jump into the court in New York, figuring they'd get their award confirmed. At this point in time, you'd have to say that it turned out that has boomeranged on the NFL.
So, Jack, let's go worst case scenario and best case scenario from Brady and the Patriots standpoint. Worst case scenario, they maintain that it's a 4-game suspension, and Brady is a bad guy who cheated. Best case scenario could be what? And am I correct that 4 games? I mean, there's no way a judge could say, I'm going beyond what Goodell said, right? I mean, it's you can't do any worse than the 4-game suspension, right?
No, it won't be any worse. No,
Okay.
the judge will affirm the decision of Roger Goodell, who decided the appeal. He'll affirm that decision, and Brady will have to sit 4 games. Or the judge could send, best case scenario, the judge lets the NFL know that he's prepared to decide against the NFL, that he's prepared to say that the process was flawed, and he overturns the decision completely. He lets the NFL know that that's where he's going to go. It forces the NFL to make an offer that Tom Brady can't refuse. That is a possibility in the best case for Tom.
So now we're in the case where we're approaching the is it September 10th or September 11th game, the opener against Pittsburgh, I think. So are they going to resolve all this between now and then?
Well, Joe, believe it or not, even if they resolve it by virtue of a decision from this judge, the last time we spoke, they indicated I did not think there'd be an appeal. Both sides have given signals that regardless of what this judge decides, they will seek an appeal of this judge's decision. If they hold to that, then this is going to drag on.
Oh my God!
Throughout 2015 regular season.
So if Brady,
the question becomes: does Tom file for an injunction trying to enjoin the NFL from implementing its suspension pending an outcome of the appeal? If Tom does that, he's successful, he plays. If Tom is unsuccessful, not only does he sit, but the underlying matter is still not resolved and continues to drag for the entire season.
oh my goodness gracious! Wow. So, what is your sense? Because I know you have good contacts with the Patriots still from your days of being the legal operation of the Patriots. What is your sense of the mood of the team? I mean, is this a motivator? Is it a non-factor? Is it a distraction?
Well, there's no question it's a distraction. Every coach will tell you from college through the pros that part of their job, in addition to the football part, which can be boiled down to put the players in the best position to make a play, that's on the field. That's a coach's job, his number one function, put the players in the best position to play. Off the field, it's to get the players to eliminate distractions. That is all the distractions that come along with being a high-profile celebrity athlete, being in college or the pros. Those distractions, which typically cause a player not to have 100% focus on his practice and preparation before the game. So this is a huge distraction. That's the negative. The positive is Coach Belichick has continually, from day one, been able to utilize distractions as a teaching tool. It allows the players to completely eliminate these distractions, and he has typically used these distractions as motivation. Now, I don't believe that he sought this out by any means. I don't think anyone would, but the coach has been very good as rallying the team as an us against them mentality because of distractions such as this. So it's certainly possible that the team has gotten closer because of this. And if the team is closer, the team has closed itself off to all the distractions, then they will be better prepared than Pittsburgh, and they'll kick Pittsburgh's butt on Thursday night at the opener.
And knowing Brady as you do, what do you think's going through his mind now in terms of his focus on this season?
I began representing players in 1983. who I've had over 30 years of working with players, both as the counsel on behalf of the team, and I will put Tom the top 1% of players in terms of his character, his integrity, his authenticity. So I look at Tom as not any way, shape, or form wanting to do anything that would hurt his club and to fight 100% against those who seek to hurt his club. And I think it's become extremely personal with Tom. I think it's terrible that one of the marquee players in the league has to go through what it's going through. I think Tom feels the same way, that they basically kicked sand in his face, and then when he objected, they kicked him in the teeth, and he's going to continue to fight back until it's resolved in his favor. So I think Tom is prepared for a long haul, a long legal fight.
Now, do you think if, let's say, Eli Manning from the Giants had allegedly deflated a football, would it be this big of a deal? Would he have gotten 4 games?
You're baiting on me, Joe.
I'm sorry. I said if Eli Manning had been allegedly the deflator of footballs, would it be anything as big as this, or is it all about the fact that the Patriots have been so dominant and that Tom Brady has been such a huge star in the league that the other owners, the other team leadership have sought to drag him down several notches? I mean, what's the dynamic here?
Joe, I don't think that the hierarchy of the NFL is trying to do something which knocks the Patriots off their perch. I don't think they're using this as the tool or the weapon to do so. I do believe, however, that there are certain people in the league that have allowed this to grow so large, so loud, that they themselves cannot believe where it's gone. I think there was some sloppy investigatory practices. I think there was some sloppy operations. They're no secret. The measuring of the footballs themselves was sloppy. It contained many errors.
So when all is said and when all is said and done, if the Pats come out of a 4-game suspension, we assume that that might be the case. Let's say it is, and they're 2-2, and Garoppolo didn't look great in the opener, but it's early on, and we assume that he'll play better. Let's say if they're 2-2, and now they've got 12 games to go. Brady comes back and positions them to do great in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl and win it. I mean, that just even makes him a bigger giant in the world of sports, right? It's like Muhammad Ali being, having his heavyweight championship taken away from him, and then he comes back and regains it. I mean, it just makes the Brady story even more powerful, doesn't it?
Well, it does, Joe, but let me say this. As good as Tom Brady is and has been, for all the accolades that have been justly earned, I think when Tom Brady leaves football, he will have just as big of an impact in private business or public office, which has been mentioned.
Yeah.
I think there's better days ahead for Tom even after football.
Wow.
I admire the man that much for who he is. I know he's a competitor. I know he's a good person. So while this is terrible that he's going through it, I actually think that it's also a teaching lesson for Tom.
Yeah, good point.
Frankly. And I think the Patriots, the last time they've encountered something like this, Joe, was Spygate.
Yeah.
The following year, they basically went undefeated until the Super Bowl, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they went undefeated. So I can't see any letdown. I can't see it 2-2, even with Garoppolo.
Yeah.
If it does happen, they'll probably run the table with Brady
Wow.
for the rest of the year.
I like it, Jack. I like what I'm hearing. I appreciate you coming on the show. Just to turn your hat a little bit here, what are you seeing in terms of the division? Buffalo, the Jets, Miami. I mean, it's going to be a little stronger than it's been in the past, right?
I think they've all improved. I would have to say at this point in time, expectations are probably highest for Buffalo.
Yeah.
Because Rex Ryan will have the biggest impact immediately. You can make a immediate impact mostly on defense when you take over a new club. So I see Buffalo riding their defense with perhaps a brighter early start than the Jets and Miami. I think Miami in their offense is very good, and notwithstanding the signing of Ndamukong Suh with Miami, I see too many holes in both Miami's roster as well as the Jets that I think they will fall 3 and 4. So it'll be the Patriots winning another division. I see Buffalo having a chance of getting in the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. I don't think they'll advance out of the first round, though, notwithstanding their good defense. Not worried at all about the Jets. And Miami will probably go 8-8 again and miss the playoffs, and we'll probably see some more changes down there.
So Seattle will be strong this year outside the division. Green Bay in the NFC. Who else are the teams to watch?
Well, I like Atlanta. That whole division is tough. You know, Atlanta, New Orleans, the Panthers. It's tough, but I do like Atlanta. They've been up and down. I think it'll be an up year. Now, the team that, quite honestly, I really like, and I hate to admit this, but I really like Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think Andrew Luck will be every bit as impactful as Peyton Manning's been with Denver and as Tom Brady has been with New England or Roethlisberger with Pittsburgh. I look for Indianapolis, quite frankly, to go pretty far and deep in the playoffs until they meet us, and I hope we kick their butts again.
So if someone said to me, if there's one player you could be in the NFL, who would it be? I'd have to say at this point, Gronkowski. Who would that player be for you?
If there's one player who what?
Who you could be? Yeah.
Oh, one player. Oh, I wish I could be Fred Smirlis.
Wow, Freddie, huh? Even in his after years, okay. He's a happy man, right? And
no one's happier than Fred.
And he's got his own steakhouse.
Yeah, he's got to split it with the Aussie. Though.
Yeah, which is good, though. That's a happy marriage. So, Jack, I want to, on behalf of Rick Johnson, who is sponsoring the show tonight, I want to invite you and anybody you're near and dear to down to Plymouth Water Sports, right?
Come on down, Jack. If you have the time, love to have you here.
Tell them what we got going here, Rick.
We've got the jet skis, we have paddle boards, fly boards, the kayaks, the beach ferry that takes you out to the beach, and you'll have a lot of fun, Jack. Come on down.
Well, Rick, I know Doug Flutie retired to Florida, and every day for exercise, he does paddleboard.
Actually,
every single day. He says he wakes up in the morning, and rather than jogging, he's paddleboarding. So I look forward to doing that down in Plymouth.
It's a great core exercise. You'll love it, Jack.
Rick is like the mayor of Plymouth. So if you want a little getaway, call me, Jack. Come on down, and he'll get you a fabulous meal at the Tavern on the Wharf. Get you some good drinks at the Shanty Rose. Anything you want. Fair enough?
Thank you, but guys have been very kind. What'd you do with Sweeney tonight, Joe?
Steve is you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. So anyway, Steve was incarcerated. Right now, he's claiming that it's all of the charges are absolutely without any merit, and he's hired some good lawyers. So, it's one of those things. I think it's all a misunderstanding. It'll get resolved. Now, Steve is out at Yellowstone Park tonight, and he'll be there for about a week, and then he'll be back next week.
God bless him. All right, Joe, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
So in the meantime, Jack, and we need to keep you close because we want to monitor this whole Brady situation. So please answer my calls. Fair enough?
Happy to do it, Joe.
Thanks, Jack. You're the best. Jack Mueller, ladies and gentlemen, former attorney with the New England Patriots, former agent to Fred Smirlis and Doug Flutie, among others, and and now doing some exciting things. We'll be right back. Sweeney and Malone, WATD, here at Plymouth Water Sports, with Larry Legend on the board and Ryan back in the studio and Margot covering it all with her camera. Welcome back to Sweeney and Malone here at Plymouth Water Sports, overlooking the Tavern on the Wharf in Plymouth. And it's, as I said, a bustling downtown here, a lot of action. If you haven't been down to Plymouth Harbor, come on down. It's really a kind of a fun, exciting, buzzing place. And if you want great food, not good food, great food, go to the Tavern on the Wharf. And we're happy to have with us the chef at the Tavern on the Wharf, Big John. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
John, you brought along the lovely Lauren with you tonight.
Yes, I did. I'm lucky to have her sitting with me.
And Lauren, I hear from all the customers, is one of their favorite waitresses. And why is that, Lauren?
I don't know. I think maybe I'm just the passion maybe I put forward for the tavern, maybe.
And your parents raised you right.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
You're friendly?
I am a friendly person.
Now when you serve this food, now tonight I had this thing that I thought was a crab cake. It was almost like a crab loaf. It was so big. And then I found out it's made from haddock. But man, the food must be getting amazing responses, huh?
Oh, it's fabulous. Everybody who comes absolutely falls in love with our food. And Johnny is not afraid to explore in the kitchen and come up with new, exciting and unique dishes for the tavern. We have specials going all the time.
Wow, my gosh. What are some of your favorite dishes?
My favorite is bucatini and clams, that homemade bucatini.
Bucatini's a pasta.
Oh, yeah, and we get it homemade from this little Italian lady in Boston, so that makes it even better, right?
And the clams, it's in a sort of garlic and white wine and so
white
forth.
wine sauce, yeah.
Yeah. And when your customers eat that, they moan and they groan. Oh my God!
And they go into a food coma right after they leave the tavern.
They got love in their eyes, right?
Oh, absolute love.
And Johnny the chef.
Yes, sir.
So what is your ethnic heritage? Because I believe a lot of beautiful cooking has to start with your upbringing and what you ate when you were a kid. Was that your background, or did you just adopt it?
I am from Irish.
Let me ask you this. Was your mother serving you the TV dinners from Swanson?
No, definitely not. Mom's was great at home. I'm from Irish and German descent. And Mom just always cooked. My grandparents always cooked. Family dinner was a big thing. You know, everyone gets together and talk about their day, and everybody has a little job to do and help out. So it definitely started my journey.
And tell us about your background. What was your first job in the culinary world?
First job, I was 14 years old with working papers, scrubbing dishes, getting hot pans thrown at me, eating scraps, learning the business the right way from the bottom up.
What restaurant?
It was a little place called Le Garlic Restaurante in Raynham, Massachusetts that unfortunately is no longer there. But yeah, nice little Italian joint, lots of great sauté dishes. I was, ripping lobsters apart when I was 14. And
so where do you go from there?
From there, you worked in every kind of greasy spoon you can think of through high school, and after my college years, and then decided to take it to another level. Decided to go to culinary school, and then went and worked for
Where'd you go to culinary school?
I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and then proceeded to go and work for some great chefs in Boston. Especially Ken Oranger at Clio Restaurant and Uni Sashimi Bar was where I really got my butt kicked and learned how to really, really cook and think outside the box.
So what restaurants has he done? I mean,
he's done all kinds of things. I mean, his flagship is Clio.
Yeah.
He also has Toro Restaurant in Boston and also New York City, and Copo Inateca as well.
I mean, he's an elite chef.
He is.
So
he's an elite chef.
So describe that. You're at his side. You're basically.
I mean, he was so busy with everything he was doing. The majority of it would be his chefs running his restaurants that have been working with directly through him. I did get lucky enough to work side by side with him several times and have him really, show me the ins and outs of certain techniques and seasoning dishes and. How to take things to the next level of expertise in a kitchen.
So you left there and went...
Yeah, left there and ended up in Plymouth, actually. I started working at New World Tavern for a while, which is right up on Main Street. They're a pretty cool little craft beer bar, and I took their food and took it in a little different direction, a little more interesting, more like gastropub kind of stuff. And then I found my way at the Tavern on the Wharf, and I'm quite happy. And
so last week, John and the general manager and you were saying that you'd been spending a lot of time learning from Asian chefs about some new recipes, new dishes. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, Asian cuisine is Asian flavors is a huge inspiration for me. Again, working under Ken, he used a lot of Asian flair in a lot of his cooking. So one of his restaurants I worked at was just a sashimi bar. There was nothing but raw fish. So I really got my hands on how to butcher amazing fish from, overnighted from Japan, great ingredients, understanding the balance of Asian flavors. And then from there, I just pushed myself to continue to learn. And, I'll go to an Asian market, walk around, find some cool ingredients, and just throw stuff together and see what works.
I had the conch. What was the conch?
Yeah, so I did a dish for you the other day. There was a conch, which is a sea snail. Did a quick saute of that with some yellow chives, which are chives that grow in lack of sunlight, so they have a little different flavor, and that's why they're that pale yellow color. And just letting ingredients speak for themselves and have just good seasoning.
So again, what were the ingredients in that dish?
So there was a shiitake mushroom, which is an Asian style mushroom. Got a nice texture to it, good flavor. The yellow chives, like I said, had some regular scallions in there, green onions, and just seasoned properly. Salt, pepper, a little bit of good oil.
What kind of oil do you use?
I use, it all depends, starting from just a basic canola oil going to fresh pressed Greek olive oil.
Wow.
I really try to use proper vinegars and oils for the right technique to make everything, sing.
And very generously, you agreed to have auctioned off an evening for Friendship Home, which is a great home for the developmentally disabled in Norwell, where you will go to someone's house and you'll basically do a little cooking clinic, but then lay out a fabulous meal. So I thank you for that. That is very
it's my
kind of
pleasure. I love sharing the talent that I've gained over the years and with people, and especially people in need, and give back to a community. And
so I was talking. I won't mention his name yet at this time, but I was talking to someone, and I said, "Man, have you tried the food at the Tavern on the Wharf? That chef is very impressive." And his response was, "That guy is a budding superstar," And so I think you're on your way.
I appreciate
no
it.
doubt in my mind.
I work very hard, and I'm passionate about what I do, and that's it.
Isn't that cool?
It really is.
So you don't look at work as work. You look at it as, hey, here's another chance to.
Well, don't get me wrong. Work can be work, but at the end of the day, there's not many jobs you can do that you can get instant gratification from feeding somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what I really fell in love with.
Feeling the feedback, like, oh my God, this is
it's great, and the praise on good food is great, and the actual concerns about something people don't like is good too. It's all that learning curve to make
better, right?
Makes us better, right?
So Johnny, the GM, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are doing this for 30 years, pretty much right now. Every now and then a perfect storm happens in a good way, and certainly Chef John Sheehan coming on board at Tavern on the Wharf and joining me, and Misty Phelps, assistant GM. It's about the best three people I've worked for and with in 30 years in this business. And this perfect storm is called the Tavern on the Wharf in a good way. And we're going to bring some exciting new things down here to the waterfront in Plymouth.
And you've been open, 3 months now or so?
Not even. Tomorrow will be 10 weeks.
So let's talk about August 20th at 7 p.m. What's going to happen?
August 20th at 7 p.m., right around that time. The captain has arrived. Captain Ebenezer is now in Plymouth, and he will be hoisted to his rightful place atop of Tavern on the Wharf in the boat, and will be put back where he always belonged.
So it's on the roof of the building.
On the roof of the building.
And for those who would like to come and be part of it, are they able to do so?
Absolutely. It's going to be one of the biggest parties Plymouth has seen in a while. At 7 p.m., the Aldous Collins Band will be arriving to Plymouth. They will start at 7:30 and are going to rock the place until closing time.
Inside the restaurant or outside?
Out on the patio.
Oh my God!
They'll be rocking the whole waterfront here.
So Aldous Collins Band won the New England Live Performing Band of the Year last year. They are absolutely amazing. Did. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
they've got a brass section that's unbelievable. They got a front guy who is a great performer. The percussionist is a Grammy winner. I mean, that's a great band. If you're at all interested in attending this event, and you want to learn more, just Google Aldous Collins. They are the rage of the South Shore. Nantucket now has adopted them. It's a cool band.
Well, we're very excited and honored to have them come down and play at such a great event for us here at Tavern on the Wharf, our grand opening.
So August 20th is what day?
That's this Thursday.
Wow, okay, jeez. This Thursday. It's 2 nights from now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. I got to make sure I'm here. Okay.
You better be here.
Geez, so the whole gig is people walk up to the bar and they buy a drink and they order food.
We have a great special that night. We have $25 pound and a half lobster special, which when you see our lobster special, we think it's the best around by far. Great deal. We've got some great cocktails, some specialty drinks, wonderful one sangria and Misty sangria. I need to say that just to set the record straight. For you, I know you're listening, Misty.
And Lauren will be there. Lauren from the wait staff will
Lauren
be there.
will be
we
there.
Just that on.
And you know what? We haven't touched a little bit about that, but the wait staff, I think, I've opened up 14 restaurants in my career, and this by far has been the nicest, best staff I've ever assembled together to open up one restaurant in my career.
Man, you've opened up 14 restaurants?
14.
Man, and you know what? You're still looking all right.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Joe. You too, Joe.
Thank you. It's quite a tribute to your mental toughness. Jeez. So
well, I'm an old ball player from the city, so that's where you get it from.
Yeah. So, Chef John, you'll have some specials for that night, or?
Oh, definitely. We'll be throwing some stuff together and having some fun with it. Really trying to show people where we're going to be going with this restaurant in the near future and what we can do. And I'm really excited for it. I'm all jazzed up.
Wow, we got to blast the word to everybody, because between Aldous Collins, the great food, the great service, I mean, this is going to be a memorable night, right? And it's this coming Thursday, just 2 nights from now. Come on down to the waterfront at the Tavern on the Wharf, and if you get here early enough and you mention Steve Sweeney's name, they will charge you double for drinks. So make sure you do that. But anyway, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it.
No, we're looking forward to it. It's a lot of people have said to us, well, why are you having a grand opening? You've already been open for 9 or 10 weeks. So I said, you know what? We're going to open slow. We're going to open right. We're going to create some great food. We're going to make sure this restaurant's ready to rock. And guess what? We're ready to rock Thursday night, 7 p.m., Tavern on the Wharf.
All right, baby. Be there. And John, for all of your dedication to the culinary side, congratulations, because I feel like it's all budding right now. And for this team to be together, this is great. And Rick Johnson, what can we say about Rick, right? Is he like the unofficial head of the Chamber of Commerce down here on the waterfront?
This couldn't have been a happier kind of get-together, a new friendship that I've had in the many, many years. Rick and his family and crew and water sports has been amazing. The place is a buzz every day, a lot of activity, people having fun. It's been a real pleasure to acquaint ourselves and develop this friendship over the last several months. We couldn't be happier to be neighbors down here at the waterfront.
Well, we appreciate all you've done for Sweeney and Malone with the hospitality and the sponsorships, and WATD, Larry Legend, Margot, everybody sends out their warmest gratitude, so appreciate it. And we will be back with Sweeney and Malone, minus Steve Sweeney, here at WATD on the waterfront with Rick Johnson, who will be rejoining us. Plymouth Water Sports, stick around. Great to have you. Thank you very much, Elvis. Welcome back to Sweeney and Malone here on Plymouth Harbor at Plymouth Water Sports, and our thanks go out to the great folks at the Tavern on the Wharf and all the rest of our sponsors throughout the summer, the Pilgrim Sands folks and the Shanty Rose. It's been an amazing summer, and people here are so friendly, and to look around, see all the buzz and excitement, Plymouth is really happening. And Margot, you're happening, huh? You just got back from Hollywood.
I did, yeah. I got back. I saw the sunrise on Saturday morning on my way home. So
you took the what do they call that? The red eye. Thank you, Larry Legend. Red eye.
I got held up 2 hours in Chicago because they had a thunderstorm, and so we couldn't take off. But
and you're if you would, explain to our listeners, you're with the Raynham local cable television, and you won a great award. Tell us about the award.
Yeah, so I'm a production coordinator at the Raynham Channel, which is the community television station in Raynham, Mass. And I won a national award for one of my videos, which I actually did at the radio station during Almost Famous.
Almost Famous, which Johnny Shea is the host of and does a great job.
The show right after this one.
Yeah.
And so I got to go to Pasadena and get dressed up, and they had a nice ceremony there. And
Pasadena?
Yeah.
That's a great town, isn't it?
It is. It's wonderful. It's very, very different. It's much more southwest than here, that's for sure.
But a lot of nice people, laid back.
Definitely. Yeah. Everyone was so nice, so friendly. They were trying to figure out where we were from. They kept guessing maybe Canada or maybe something, but they knew we were East Coast, that's for sure.
So now we're going to repeat next year?
For sure. Good. Actually, I'm hoping to send in a Sweeney and Malone episode for next year.
Very good. That could either make you or totally destroy you. You know, it's kind of a crapshoot. And did you, when you got up to accept it, did you say, I want to thank my parents, I want to thank Larry Legend, Johnny Shea, and Ryan?
I'm just so honored to have won. I really didn't expect to win at all, and so I'm 24. I'm only 2 years out of college, and so.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to Fitchburg State for video production.
Wow.
And so I got my job right out of school, and I've been there for 2 years.
We absolutely love having you as part of the Sweeney Malone family, and we congratulate you and wish you all the best in the future. I think this is just the beginning, and you're going to parlay this into a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, so, I appreciate you guys having me here every week, too. It's just so much fun, and I get to meet so many people and go to great places. And
it's been cool, isn't
it? Yeah,
I
love it.
And, you know, Steve's away, so now's my chance to kind of get some shots in on him. But he talks about you behind the back, and he says, I don't like Margot. She's got an ego trip. She's got an attitude. But I always defend you. No, Steve loves you. We love you, and we congratulate you. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And Raynham Cable, you got a gem here, baby. You got a gem. So, and Larry, who we joined with now? Oh, yeah. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing. Tonight we're on the waterfront here at Plymouth Water Sports, and the whole waterfront is buzzing. But I wanted to have you on the show because last week you and John, the chef at the Tavern on the Wharf, generously agreed to volunteer your time to go into a household and cook a dinner, do a little teaching of the culinary arts, and be generous to Friendship Home, which is a great organization that helps the developmentally disabled. So I wanted to once again put that message out that any other great chef or company, business that wants to donate, they can do so. Just reach out to Friendship Home in Norwell. You can find them online. And I wanted to ask you your thoughts about doing that. You pretty excited about it? You pretty enthused?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think
that's great.
It's a great time for both the guests, but also for me too. You get to meet some really nice people. You get to be a little bit more creative with the menu than maybe you can be at the restaurant. So it's fun to sit down with the couple who purchases the auction item and talk about what their tastes are and come up with a theme. Sometimes, I've done a few of these in the past where some of these people have more wine in their basement than I have in both restaurants. So it gives them an opportunity to drink a bottle of wine that maybe they wouldn't otherwise really want to open.
Now you have your Sintra restaurant in Braintree, which is highly acclaimed, and then you've got Port Bistro.
It's been open for 12 years. We about a year and a half ago we opened Port Bistro in Kingston, which is 114 Main Street, right off exit 9, heading south towards Plymouth. So we're right on the Plymouth Kingston line.
Right on 3A if you take exit 9. Yeah. And so, is the menu the same at Sintra as it is at Port Bistro, or is it a little different?
Not exactly. No, we do have some of the same dishes down here at Port, but we've expanded the menu a lot because we have a bigger kitchen here than we do at Sintra. Sintra's a little open kitchen, only enough room for 2 guys, so it really limits what you can do. But down here we have a nice big kitchen. We've added a lot of things to the menu recently. A beautiful pasta dish, all fresh pastas, handmade. Linguine with clams and shrimp, cherry tomatoes and garlic oil.
Oh my God! Let's back up here. Shrimp, clam, garlic, olive oil, cherry tomatoes. What's better than that, right?
Yeah,
I'm feeling like I'm in Italy.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, people like that. Comfort food, good portions, really flavors that people can relate to. We don't try to do anything too outside the box here. Appetizers like steamed mussels. You get the grilled chorizo and the spicy tomato sauce, garlic toast to dip in. We have a shrimp scampi bruschetta. We have a spicy crab dip that's really popular. We have a lot of nice new dishes, different than Sintra. Really excited about the way things are going. One other thing I wanted to tell you about, Joe, I don't know if I mentioned to you before, that Tuesday through Thursday we're doing a 3 courses for $29, and it's really taken off. The difference between us and maybe some other restaurants that do this is that we don't give you just 3 choices of appetizers, 3 entree. We have a choice of 8 appetizers, 8 entrees, all the desserts that are all homemade in the house.
Wow.
Creme brulee, warm chocolate cake, blueberry cobbler. And so people aren't even coming in for it, but once they see what a value it is, how big that menu is, they end up getting that.
And what nights of the week was that?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay, so there's still time. There's still time for people to bop over to Port Bistro tonight, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. The kitchen's open till 9:30. So we open Tuesday through Saturday at 4:30, and we're open. The kitchen stays open till 9:30. But if there are people here, we stay open until everybody leaves.
So I'm here with Rick Johnson, who's who's sponsoring the show tonight from Plymouth Water Sports. Rick loves good food. Rick.
Having traveled so much in Italy over the years and so forth, it hits home. And I drive right by there every night when we leave Plymouth Water Sport. I head towards the Pembroke area. And is it just barely into Kingston, Brian?
Barely, yeah. It's actually directly across the street from Percy's.
Okay, sure, yeah, great. Oh, that's perfect. What a great location. Easy to get to.
Parking lot.
That's
a lot
nice.
Of the things that in Braintree we didn't have.
Sure.
We have here.
Yeah.
Really like visibility to the street. Braintree, I'm in the middle of a very busy square.
Very nice. That's a pretty good sized building, if I recall. You can see quite a few.
Yeah, we see about 85 to 100, depending on how the tables get used.
Nice.
A nice, beautiful bar that seats about 15, plus a couple high tops. People like the high tops. In the
Sure.
bar area.
Yeah. It's a great location. It's been there how long now, Brian?
It's been here a year and a half.
A year and a half. That's great. Well, they don't let me out much.
No, honestly though, Rick.
Seriously, we will.
We have to go.
One of these nights we're going to plan that to go down there. I can't tell you how many times Joe has already told me about it, Brian, and I forgive me for not being there yet.
And the other thing is too, everybody there, much like Tavern on the Wharf, everybody there is nice. Yeah. They welcome you with a smile, and the service is great. It's
great feeling. Great feeling.
All the pieces are in place. So,
yeah, we look forward to it.
But much like the questioning I had for John Sheehan from Tavern on the Wharf, give me a little bit about how you got to where you got to, because obviously you don't start at the top. So what were your humble beginnings in the restaurant world?
Well, actually, I grew up in Plymouth, and I worked as a dishwasher, a couple of different restaurants. I actually worked at, my first cooking job was at Isaac's on the waterfront. And then decided to go to the Culinary Institute of America, which is in New York, which is in Hyde Park, New York. I wanted to please my father, who was a long-time teacher. So we went to CIA. CIA did an externship in Chicago and had an opportunity to live in Hawaii for a year.
Wow.
Came back, and then the longest stint I had in Boston was at Top of the Hub. which most people know that's at the top of the credential. That was back in the late 90s.
Did you ever think of not leaving Hawaii? Did you ever think, like, why would I want to leave Hawaii?
Yeah, there are a lot of days, especially last winter. I
Yeah.
myself. But I think when you live in New England, there's something about it. Nothing else really feels the same.
Yeah.
Really lucky to live around here.
We always come back.
The best of everything.
Yeah.
Do you,
the seasons.
So then ultimately you said I want to own my own restaurant. What year was that again? 12 years ago?
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I was 39.
Wow. Okay.
No, wait. Actually 31.
I was going to say, you look, if you were 39, geez.
My son's 13 and he was 1, so it was 12 years ago.
Wow.
So I was 32.
So at the age of 32, that's a pretty big leap for someone to take. And
it was a big leap. We had a baby. There weren't a lot of really good executive chef positions in the city, and the place that I was at the time, the chef wasn't going anywhere, so I just kind of took a chance. Here we are.
Well, we all want to thank you for the pledge of support for Friendship Home, and that's exciting. And again, you're an example for others out there. If there's a way in which you can help by donating something, we'll promote the heck out of the fact that you're generous and wonderful for doing it. And I'm looking forward to getting over to Port Bistro real soon. I'm going to bring my friend Rick Johnson over there.
I look
The
forward.
first thing I'm going to order is that vongole, the shrimp and clam. Oh my God, love it. And then after that, I might try the duck, which the last time I was in there, I tried it. It was phenomenal. Best duck I've ever had in my life. And whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's really, really good. And have a rest of the summer. Have a great summer.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks
Oh,
so
you're
much.
welcome, Brian. Take care. We
See you, Brian.
appreciate it. See you, Brian, from the Port Bistro, ladies
Nice.
and gentlemen. A great guy.
I met him was it last week he
Yeah,
was down?
yeah,
I remember
gentleman, huh?
he's a very athletic guy. I'm going to call out to him when we do the water sport challenge down here in the next week or two. I think Brian, knowing in the restaurant business you have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have him down here too if we can get Brian to show up.
So
and
you could have the
enjoy it.
chef category. You could have
Exactly
the
right.
golf pro category. You could have the
Politician.
radio production. Larry Legend would be in a class by himself. Margot, we could have a category.
We'll
for her.
handicap them all.
So you've had a good night tonight?
Oh, you kidding me? It's been
Yeah,
great.
right,
All the
right.
people by here. We've got family in the background. We've got our new friends across the street. Some of our old friends have come by from the neighborhood. It's just, as I've said it 1,000 times, I know it sounds stale, but it really is a neighborhood atmosphere down here. When you come down, you just feel good. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's talking about what a great time they had wherever it was.
And the biggest thing I learned tonight is that Alexis Collins Band is going to be here Thursday night.
Thursday is a big deal, and not
7
just at
o'clock.
night. I mean, it starts fairly early because the captain is actually going to make his arrival to land at about 4 o'clock, and it will be right behind me off of the dock. He will be on the bow of a very well-known boat.
Wow, and they'll hoist him up onto
We're going to hoist him up. We're going to take him right off of the
so
dock
that's
across
one
the
big
street.
thing. Then the next big thing is, I know you love good music.
Oh,
Rick.
Aldous Collins is nothing better.
Right?
Nothing
Jeez,
better.
thank God.
I was fortunate because he played a lot of nights in Pembroke at one of WATD's sponsors, the BBC.
Wow,
he was
really?
there
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
a bit.
yeah,
He was
that's
on,
right. He was a regular there.
He was
right.
there on a regular basis
Yeah.
long before he became really famous.
Wow.
But it was great to go there and see him. I mean, you talk about talent. You talk about good noise. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And rumor has it that, Johnny, they're going to have some booze there Thursday night?
It's a dry night.
Yeah. Johnny?
We might have some libations.
All right, yeah.
everybody.
That's coming
Absolutely.
directly from Johnny, the manager, the general manager of Tavern on the Wharf. And again, to Rick Johnson and to everybody for turning out tonight and for being so wonderful. Larry Legend, Margot, we got Ryan back in the studio. Thank you all. See you next Tuesday. Cool.